Department of Treasury. Let me say that again. Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, Department of Treasury.
I'm gonna break down a little bit more of what I was expressing in that last video. Everything is structured off of corporate law. As you can see, the U.S. corporate doctrine is judge-made common law, statutory law. Everything is a parliamentary procedures where you can go and see in Robert's Rules. So Robert's Rules of Order is how businesses, nonprofits are adjourned and operated. Think about minutes. Think about parliamentary hearings. You see it's indicating bylaw. Now that you're aware in a business at all, so let's tie it to the banking. Money dealer, counter, or shop, but as well you see the word table. Let's stick to the word table because you have table of accounts. A chart of accounts, it acts as a master directory of table of contents, mainly asset, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expenses. Table of accounts, chart of accounts, it doesn't matter. The biggest thing is being a financial fiduciary and prudent at what you are instructed to do or what you establish. Now let's get into the banking term of the definition. Bank, the seat of which judges sit in court. Now why does this matter? Because they're keeping a record of account. Remember they say you have 5 counts of something, 5 counts of this. That's exactly what's going on. But not only that, courts participate in the fiscal system because they are state corporations.
Now, these elements are illustrated all throughout the governmental websites as well as the government statutes. They get into greater detail how the back office settlements and how court proceedings operate. You may ask how? Right here. Provides a broad range of legislative, legal, and financial technology, management, administrative, and program supportive services to federal courts. Let's stick to financial. The court shall pay into the treasury all fees, costs, and other monies collected by him. He shall make returns thereof to the Director of Administrative Office of the United States Courts under regulations prescribed by him. Why did you bring this up, Quantum? It's evidentiary at best. 27 CFR 7211, commercial crimes. Carrier, vessel, vehicle. Vessel is a very broad term, but let's get into commercial crimes. The main reason I want to show you this is what all is deemed as a commercial crime. Damn near anything you can get into where there isn't physical harm or loss of life. So now let's go up. The reason we're going up is because look at where it sits in. Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, Department of Treasury. Let me say that again. Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, Department of Treasury. It's under the Department of Treasury, the executive branch. That's the executive administrative instrumentality. But now let's keep going a little bit. Procedures in administration, discovery of liability and enforcement of laws. What does discovery sound like to you? I shouldn't even have to get into that, but I'll get into it briefly. Discovery, when you first go into court. What does that say? Summons to any person other than the person summoned who is identified in the description of the books and records contained in the summons. Isn't that why they say representing yourself in court is a fool's client? You have a fool for a client? Because how are we talking about you when we weren't even? All right. But anywho, seizures and forfeitures. The reason I get into seizures and forfeitures is because of what I expressed earlier with the back settlement office form of operations that all courts have. Yeah, so when those bonds enter their books and they keep account of those, not only do they have the ability to invest with those instruments, but also they are managing it in a fiduciary capacity that's similar to a bailment. And when instructed to, by way of order from the court or the depositor, a forfeiture comes to happen. You see what I'm saying? And it's all implemented by the director and their duties they have to do. The director shall be the administrative officer of the courts and under the supervision and direction of the Judicial Conference of the United States. You see what I'm saying? Now, why? Because of the court registry investment system. What is the court registry investment system? The court registry investment system administered and managed by the Administrative Office of the U.S. Courts. that allows clerks a safe and efficient way to manage and invest registry funds. Manage and invest registry funds while protecting deposited principal from losses. Deposited principal from losses. You're the principal. Man, what funds can be invested in Chris? Although not required to, courts can invest all registry funds. Any monies. Let's gander into what money means. A general, indefinite term for the measure and representative of value. Currency, the circulating medium. Cash, money is a generic term and embraces every description of coin or banknotes recognized by common consent as a representative of value in affecting exchanges of property or payment of debts. Take a case law to help you understand that more. Cash, ready money, whatever can be used as money without being converted into another form, that which circulates as money, including bank bills. Money changer, the name given to a person who is in the business of exchanging currencies. So little do you, man. Okay, now let's take it further. What qualifies as registry funds? Bonds, any kind. Don't let people put their own lack of understanding and lack of financial clarity and literacy make you think that it's a definitive type of term, because it's not. If it was, they would have included that, which they did, bail bond. That's specifics. Now, carrying on, they have the power to invest or withdraw from Chris, but it requires a court order. Deposit orders must include identity of the payer. So if I'm in there and I deposit a bond to settle all court transactions and for me to get a reversionary return on my interest, okay, then the Treasury empowers them in Section 2041 to invest in public debt securities with maturity suitable to the needs of the funds as determined by the director or the director's designee. Now we're going to take it even further. And when I say that, it's because the Chris objectives, the total pool of registry funds earned market rate of return. Registry funds in Chris are invested in short-term securities, thus eliminating any need for collateral. Now you may be like, Q, why did you say that? What are you heading towards with all this? Well, this is a traffic ticket I'm about to show you. This is the pool they were talking about. And you know how everyone talk about my estate, the minor account? The minor account is the specific tranche that you have an interest in that's attached to your event that popped up. Carrying on, bond certificates, a certificate acceptable in lieu of bail in traffic violations as authorized under the provisions of Article 5 of the Illinois Supreme Court. So why just for bail and not to settle everything? Civil surety, personal surety, guarantor, and individual not licensed by the state of Illinois as a surety and not regularly engaged. This is you. That is you. You don't do that in regular. You're not a guarantor for the performance of an act of another. You're not a civil surety, any company currently licensed as a surety. This is why reading at a 6th grade level is so detrimental. So you see civil surety, it says licensed. Then guarantor, it says any company or association currently authorized. That's not a license. So that's adding on to the personal surety above. You see what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't, why wouldn't they just say license? So you see how you got to be able to read and take context clues, and are you smarter than a 5th grader? No offense to anyone. This is just me being very objective and specific. Because any company or association, that's a contract, currently authorized, which issues and guarantees the payment of a judgment and cost upon the failure of a holder of a bond certificate to appear for trial pursuant to the orders of court. Why can't the bond just settle the transaction? Why can't the bond certificate settle it? When it says bond certificates and they list them, they don't say who can issue them. Now, why do I say that? Because of refund. After the expiration of 1 year from the termination of its authority, a guarantor may petition the chief judge for a refund of its security deposit upon the payment of outstanding obligations of the guarantor. If there's any, the security deposit may be refunded. So you're telling me not only did I tender an instrument to settle all the court transactions, but then also during termination of whatever obligation,
outstanding obligations, I'm supposed to get a refund of my security deposit, that bailment. Now, you remember we got into bonds, right? So briefly, there is a method to my madness, and that method to my madness comes entirely to this. Remember I said it's broad, right? Any type of bond essentially functions as a promise, and that promise requires some form of collateral or backing, which is usually money. Usually money, it doesn't have to be money. When it comes to bailing someone out of jail, the person responsible for securing a bail bond must make a financial promise to the justice system that the defendant will appear in court as required. That promise is made by securing a bond, either directly from the court or from a bail bond agent. Read and learn about the differences. What is a cash bond? How does it work? A cash bond is a type of bail bond that's backed purely by cash. Remember, let me show you one more time what cash is. Ready money. Whatever can be used as money without being converted into another form that which circulates as money. Okay? Then we get into money, which I just went over, but a general indefinite term for the measure and representative of value. So that's all it is. Don't make it hard. So now that we went over cash and money, it involves two parties, the principal and the obligee, and it requires a direct payment to the court. The party that pays cash for the bond is the principal, and the party to whom the promise or guarantee is made, the court, in this case, is the obligee. You see? Now, why is all this so detrimental? Because if you don't know this, you're going to lose faith in the court. The public trust has been diminishing because of these actors in the court. And because of people's ignorance, the justice system seems unfair in totality. It's up to 35% in 2024. I promise you, it has went up since then. And what does that mean if everyone lose faith? Well, civil warfare. Once again. Now, let's go into what all can qualify as money so we can bypass this. Negotiable instruments, payable to bearer or to order. Remember, court order. At the time it is issued, you're the issuer. Order means any written instruction to pay. Money, remember we went over money, signed by the person giving the instructions. The instructions may be addressed to any person, including the person giving the instructions, or to one or more persons jointly in an alternative but not in succession. An authorization to pay is not an order unless the person authorized to pay is also instructed to pay. Remitter means a person who purchases an instrument from the issuer if the instrument is payable to an identified person other than the purchaser. Certified check means a check accepted by the bank on which it is drawn. Acceptance. Check means a draft other than a documentary draft. And then you're all banks. Peace.